So the first edition of the Final Whistle, the preview show, and our producer, they've dubbed this third time's the charm because whichever of these teams win, it will be their third trophy and it will definitely be a charm for them. Lionel Messi hopes to bid his final farewell with the coveted trophy, but only France stands in the way of that dream, and the hearts of fans have been pounding heavily as they travel from near and far to say farewell to some who say the greatest of all time. Morning, everyone. Welcome, Neville. And this is it, folks, the moment we've all anticipated. Match number 64. Seated with me for this final encounter are Andrew Price, Technical Director at Calabar, Technical Director at Humber Lion, President of the Boylston Football Club, 3-time champion at the Manning Cup level, and just a bad man. And Regin. Eric Rademacher, Technical Director at Campion College, one of the coaches at Arnett, and for the first time in 32 years, Campion College, they won a football competition.
Yeah, the resume don't reach with Price yet, but we're trying, we're building.
You see, I didn't even introduce him, so they won the under 16, the urban competition.
Against who was the final?
I can't remember who they beat in the final, but they beat St. George's College in the under 16 final. Outstanding work, sir. Outstanding work, and as I said, outstanding work also at Arnett Guards. Shavar Thomas, who I dub Baby Giant. He's one of the coaches at Football Club Cincinnati, Coach Portmore. Played for Jamaica at every single level. I think he started under 15, played under 17, played under 20, played under 23, played for the senior team. The only person here who went to a World Cup competition. I went to the Under-20 World Cup back in Argentina in 2001, and actually beat Argentina in the first half.
Second half,
yeah. Got 5-0 in the first half and beat them 1-0 in the second half. I can remember that young man, Saviola, who played for Argentina at the time and did so brilliantly. But Shavar, always great to see him. Sharona Forrester, first degree in economics, master's degree in economics and statistics at the University of the West Indies, Rhodes Scholar, Jamaica Rhodes Scholar 2016, head girl at Glenmuir High, played netball for UA, played football for UA, reggae girl manager. Whew, I'm tired. Eh? And still playing ball for the University of the West Indies, by the way. And on Zoom, Miguel Coley, who is one of the coaches at Salal Soccer Club. He was one of the coaches, the national coaches here in Jamaica. But listen to this. He won the Manning Cup 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. 5 years, and only coached Jamaica College for 5 years. Bossy bad. Well, go on, my brethren. All is well?
Morning.
Outstanding. What time is it now? It's afternoon for you, right?
After 4.
4 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock. And then he was also technical director at the Barbican Football Club, which is the first time we had a little clash there, but love him bad. And Liam Henriquez, who they say a young analyst, I will say a young genius, and a senior analyst, because he's been around for a while, and as young as him look, Liam touching about 41, you know, as young as him look. Hey Liam, how are you?
All right, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure to have you. Guess what? We have a giveaway for you viewers, so you have to stick around for the post-game show. So we're going to have this for an hour just before the game, and then we will come back here at about 11 o'clock? No, can't 11 o'clock.
12 noon.
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
That if the game don't go extra time, penalty and more penalty. These two teams have met at the World Cup. This is going to be the 4th time. And Argentina, they won 2 out of the last 3. Importantly, the last one they played at the last World Cup, I think it was around the 16, they were beaten 4-3. And everyone who scored for France is in this squad still, even though I don't think Pavard has played.
No, he's injured.
But Griezmann scored, and Mbappe had a double in that match, and he's here again. And only Di Maria from that team who scored in that game is in the squad, and I think he's starting today for Argentina. So lots to talk about. Pride of place. goes to Shavar, who's the only person here who still has a team in the World Cup. The only one. Well, most of us, our team gone from about the second match. I know Andrew don't like that answer about the stupid Brazil make me appear wig and all kind of stuff. I won't say stupid Brazil because I say next World Cup, I carry them again because it's my team. But pride of place goes to Shavar. Why did you pick Argentina? And just before you answer that, with the many so-called upsets and shocks in this World Cup, maybe the cream did rise to the top. Because these two teams were considered favorites from before the World Cup started. Yeah, some of us said Portugal, some said Brazil, some said Germany. But it's not a surprise or a shock that these two teams are here, Shavar. But why did you think Argentina would be here and you still think they're going to win? Why did you think that?
Well, first of all, they're my first love. Growing up, we were watching Maradonas of the world, so that's where the affinity came from. And being that at that time, Jamaica wasn't expecting to be a part of any World Cup. So we as Jamaicans always try to find a team we can identify with, and Argentina, Maradona was the one that did that for me. So that's why I choose them. And now, greatest player of all time, Messi is there. So. Yeah. Can't lose.
Can't lose, all right. We still have a long way to go before that. By the way, he said that Jamaica wasn't expected to be there, right? The winner of this game gets $42 million US. Had Jamaica gone to the World Cup and did not score a goal, did not win a match, just play 3 matches and come back home, the Jamaicans would have earned $9 million US just to turn up. I don't know if my phone have so much numbers, but I think that's more, and I'm being very serious, more than $1 billion Jamaican dollars, I think.
1.3.
150.
What's that? This is the experts say 1.3 billion. I'm going to say it again, that is just to get there. So if we never score a goal, we never beat nobody, from your God there, everybody who went to the World Cup, the least amount of money you will get is 9 million.
Just to take the plane.
Eh?
Just to take the plane.
Eh?
Well,
They
the
probably
next,
pay
the
for
next
those
World Cup,
tickets
the
as
money
well.
are going to go up and the
Yeah, because when we
spaces
got
are
there,
going to go
when we
up so
got
we
there in
can.
98, I think we got 3 million Swiss francs. I don't know how much US that, but I think in 98 we got that. But no, it's 9 million US just to get there.
You can get a few extra turf fields.
Eh? 1 billion, a few. We can't get anything we want after that with the football. Well, the next World Cup has 48 teams.
3 already qualified.
And it's nearby.
Yeah, America, Mexico, and Canada are already there because they are the host countries. And I think the Caribbean, the CONCACAF will have 6. So it's still on 3.
3.5.
And a half.
3.5 spots.
That's my point. No, outside I'm not 3 there.
Yeah,
3.5
spots, yeah.
But then we have a fight with Panama and Costa Rica and Honduras
And El Salvador.
So you don't think we reach a level there?
Well, I thought we would have been in this World Cup, to be fair.
Okay.
And to be honest, I thought we would have been in the last World Cup too.
Okay.
So we have work to do. But again, 9 million would have done a whole lot. Liam, tell me, what do you think? I don't think you're surprised that France and Argentina are in the final. But what do you think? What kind of game we're going to get? Because I find that sometimes in finals it's a little cagey. Coaches play more not to win, not to lose than to win. What kind of game you think we're going to have here?
Well, I'm kind of sad to say I kind of expect that type of game. Simply because, like you said, it's a final. We've seen our past World Cup finals, especially when the teams are so close to get a match together. Such a close, cagey game. Last one was France-Croatia. Bit of a difference in, quality, and we saw a better game. But I do think it's going to be cagey, and I think it'll probably go down to penalties. I think Argentina will just edge it.
Yeah. Miguel, what are your thoughts? We were talking before we came on. I kind of suggested that maybe France will sit behind it because they have so much pace up front. They might sit behind it and try to counter. What do you think? Let me ask you about the France team. When we come back to studio, I'll ask Eric about the Argentinian team. But what do you think France might do here, Miguel?
Well, France is like Argentina, a very compact team. They match up very well against each other. So I think the France will go in a mid-block and try to do the fast break and try to do the counter-attack. try to especially, get Mbappe going, the 1v1 versus Molina. That's going to be very important. Now, Griezmann for me, is a player for France. Once he can get the space inside the midfield, inside of those spaces, he can be very dangerous for the French team. So it's going to be a very tactical game. You see the Argentina team bringing Di Maria to exploit that space and to get that fast break against Hernandez, especially with Mbappe not coming back. So they know they have to tweak a little bit. So I think they will be coming back in the mid block. And if you notice, based on the statistics, although this match is not just about statistics, but based on the statistics, both teams allow teams to play out most of the time. So they will go back in a mid block and sit and play on the fast break, and hopefully they can probably pick 1 and 2 from the press when they do that. So it's going to be a very tactical game.
Okay, Eric Scaloni. Argentina.
Let me take two angles. First, what I see that they're doing. So I saw Netherlands. They choose to really go wide. 3-man backline with Molina and Acuna more wide, so they attack the width. Croatia, they say no, we're going more through the middle. So you see more Messi, Alvarez, McAllister, everybody more in the middle, and try to really overload that situation there. So I would actually have gone with that approach and continue with that, but I see Di Maria is back in the starting lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised if they choose to try to have more width from the wingers and still use the midfield to get some short passes and look for the pass out wide and get maybe some deliveries in the box towards Alvarez, and Messi will be roaming. But as I said, what I would have done if I was Scaloni, I would have kept it with Messi, Alvarez, more in the middle over there. I think Enzo playing a great game there, McAllister playing a great game, and try to overload in the central areas. But I think it's going to be a crucial battle in the midfield, and not necessarily which midfield can cancel out the midfield better, but can the French holding midfield deal with the movement from a Messi, McAllister, Di Maria, and then can the France really line up, prevent it from isolating the 1v1s, or Argentina defense midfield prevent France from getting 1v1s all wide.
Okay.
So it's interesting battle we're going to see.
Yeah. Andrew, we've always spoken as coaches about on paper, and we look at a team and say, no, that team is better than that team. Which team is the better team here?
Well, when you look on paper, France has more quality. I mean, the Argentina has the X factor in Messi. But when you have big games like these, sometimes the X factors don't have the opportunity to shine because they're close marked and they're watched very closely. So I believe that the game will be won in the midfield, and somebody like Griezmann has the ability to unlock a defense. He has been playing well for the entire World Cup, probably his best World Cup showing. And I think he'll be the henchman today. He'll be the person to unlock that Argentine defense with those passes. Also, we have to take into consideration it's going to be a game of moments. It's which team picks the right moments, which team makes the least mistakes. Both defensive units came out of their last game with clean sheets, so they're in good mettle. So it's going to take a lot to unlock them. The matchups are very similar. They both play with 3 people in midfield. So it's who wins that battle in the middle of the park that will win the game. Yeah. The longer the game goes on, it favors the French. But if once Argentina scores first, it's going to change.
Yeah. By the way, I told you that the winner will get 42 million. Well, second place get 30 million still. No? So second good still. And Croatia got 27 million for coming third, and Morocco got 25, I think. Yeah, not I think, they got 25. Round of 16 teams, just to finish it up, they get 17 million. No, quarterfinal gets 17 million. Round of 16 get 13 million. And
Still not bad.
And I guess people who just play 3 and go home carry home 9 million. Sharon, I asked this question at an earlier sitting when we were here. If you consider, say, all right, Mbappe is the big man, Messi is the big man, which team has the better supporting cast? Which team can help the big man to win this? Or are we just depending on the big man here?
Well, in my opinion, I think France has quality all around, but in terms of the X factor carrying the team, and he's not carrying dead weight, he's carrying men who are inspired to work towards the same goals. I think
that's the case of Argentina and how they are playing so far. I don't know if it's because they lost the first game and they had to be playing, to win all of them. It looks as if they want it more. But I think the opposition for the French, they've been in gear 2 and gear 3. So I haven't seen them in top gear. So I think that's the intrigue and mystery about the finals, like what is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
But the stats, France has had more successful crosses. They have 26 compared to 12. France has had more successful dribbles, 52 to 32. When you look at the goals, France had one more goal than them. So they're different teams.
Yeah.
So for me, I just don't know what they're going to come with today.
All right. By the way, I told you about the World Cup stats that they've played each other 3. But overall, they played each other 12 times. France, they've only won 3 out of the whole 12. But they won the last one at the World Cup. Coach Miguel, wow. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Sharona. Which team here would support the big baller better, you think?
Well, I think both teams they reach it because they have both have the support cast. If you look at both teams have top players. Look at Juventus, De Maria, Rabiot, Paredes. Look at Atletico Madrid. You have Griezmann, Correa, De Paul, Molina, PSG, Messi, Mbappe, Man United, Varane, Martinez. All of those teams, they both have top players who can adapt very, very quickly. And I believe both teams have supported the team very well. But for me, when it comes to winning, football love a romantic story, and the romantic story is with Lionel Messi. As I said, the GOAT, the best player of all time, or the best player in the last 2 generations or more. Going into the sunset with the World Cup. And, this is a moment in which the finals, for me, you throw away all the statistics. You throw away all the statistics because I said, normally you look and said, teams that win the finals is the team that is most compact, with less space between the lines, but both teams are very similar.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the storyline, of Lionel Messi.
Liam, wow. Can Argentina win without Messi playing well? And can France win without Mbappe playing well?
Yeah, and as a man who's checked for Argentina and Messi, I'm gonna go out and say that I think in this game specifically, Mbappe is a bigger X factor than Messi. I just think simply because of his pace and Messi's, old legs.
Older.
I think. I think Mbappe in his prime is probably still fast, maybe still faster than Messi. Mbappe is really, really, really fast. Not saying Mbappe in his prime is better. I'm just saying, as for this game,
Fast enough to
Mbappe's pace is
defend.
very, very, very hard to stop. So it's gonna be interesting to see, Argentina top that with Molina, Acuna on the wings. Also want to speak about the midfield battle that's been talked about. I think it's huge because now they have Di Maria on the right. Maybe that's because of World Cup experience and the fact that Paredes against Netherlands was slide tackling, kicking the ball against the bench, and they don't want any of that in the game today. So they put Di Maria on, and they reverted De Paul back into the midfield to where he usually plays. And that midfield's pretty interesting with the rugged De Paul, but yet the flary Enzo Fernandez. So I'm interested to see that. And I like Coach Price's point about if Argentina score first is huge because France usually like to play the game of scoring early and then they relax a bit and sit back and let the other team have possession. So if Argentina score first today, it could be really, really huge for them in the game.
Yeah. Andrew, how you playing? As a coach, sometimes I say no, the one ball and I go beat me. By the way, one ball I beat me all the while. As a coach, I just say no, no one ball I can't come and beat my entire team. How you play Lionel Messi? Because he plays possum sometimes, So sometimes you just see him walk up and down like him not interested, and then you see him break for a space, he gets it. You are the France coach now, sir. Who you tell must stay close? How you play this great baller?
You have to treat him with respect. He is dangerous, and you have to get somebody to actually observe him most of the time. It's going to be hard. You won't be able to stop him, but you can try and contain him. And the least touches he has is the better it is for France. So if France deny Messi getting the ball a lot and getting him on the ball a lot, that is where the game will turn in their favor. But if Messi explodes, this is his last hurrah, he's going to make the use of it. So definitely, I believe that Deschamps will definitely look at getting somebody that's very, very close to him, give him a lot of attention, and don't allow him to turn. It's better when Messi plays with his back to the goal than when he's breaking into spaces. So I believe that that's the best way to deal with somebody like Messi. He's on a mission. His team wants to support him. So if he gets on the ball a lot, he's going to be very dangerous.
Yeah, we're going to go for a break. When we come back, Shavar will be the Argentina coach, and he'll tell me how to stop Kylian Mbappe. Eh? No? You ever going to tell me that?
No.
Every time you just hold on to him shirt. Two big footballers. By the way, Didier Deschamps, the French coach, one of only 3 men to have won the World Cup as a player back in 1998 and as a coach at the last World Cup. And if he wins today, he becomes the first person to win 1 as a player and 2 as a coach. Final whistle continues when we come back. Stay with us, please. So in the very first World Cup all the way back in 1930, Eric was there. Argentina beat France 1-0. In 1978, Argentina won the World Cup and they beat France 2-1 in that World Cup. Eric was there also. And the last World Cup, 2018, France beat Argentina 4-3. Kylian Mbappe getting a couple of goals. Eric was here. He wasn't there. Couldn't get no visa to go. So those are the 3 times they've played in the World Cup. But they've played each other 12 times. The rest of the games would have been friendly internationals and stuff like that. And the Argentinians have won 6. And France, they've only won 3, and they had 3 ties. How you stop Mbappe?
Or stop Mbappe.
Apart from tripping him.
Apart from tripping him, probably trade Kyle Walker to Argentina.
But I see him run past Kyle Walker too in England, man. It make him look like he wasn't moving. But seriously, how do you stop?
Yeah, I mean, you can't match him pace for pace. He's very smart, very tricky, very mature with his play. But how do you stop him? We here have been saying that one of the things that's going to influence the game is the battle between the midfields. So when he received the ball, high up the field, in and around the 18-yard box, Argentina must have the ball coming across, creating 2v1s, forcing him into negative direction and negative passes, playing back to his midfielder or his wing back, and not allowing him to face up and can connect with Giroud, Griezmann, or beat you on 1v1s. So it's going to be important what the number 6 is for Argentina does and how the coach want them to operate.
Yeah. Eric, I read Wayne Rooney saying the difference with Van Gaal and Sir Alex Ferguson was Van Gaal spent a lot of time in pre-game talk with the other team. Like he would tell them, say, boy, we are playing Aston Villa and you have to do this. And he said the difference with Sir Alex would have said something like, we're better than them, man, so we're going to go out and beat them. I kind of pre-game coach like that. I don't get into the, boy, I see Shavar over there, we have to stop and Joe, and, What do you tell the team about Mbappe, though? Do you, boy, we have to stop him, we have to this. So how do you approach that as a coach?
I think, as you say, you're going to look at your players who their strength is already in line with what the formula is to stop Mbappe. And then don't really say, all right, we're going to change to do this and this. It's just that we're going to continue with what we're good at, which means in transition, we'll make sure we're close to our defensive line so we can give that support on that side. But, that's part of a tactic that you do all the time as a holding midfielder. It's part of the game that you go there. It's more, I think, emphasize, I agree with you. This is our strength. We are good enough to beat any team if we play good. So all we have to do is execute our plan properly. But there is a defensive side where we have to realize what is it that they're trying to do. And in that area, you're going to emphasize now on certain details. Make sure you reach quick enough so you can get that double team there out wide and you can force them on the negative side. Yeah. You emphasize on maybe a player that they identify, he is going to get the ball to Mbappe a lot. Chouameni gets to Mbappe a lot. So we make sure when Chouameni gets it, we'll block off that side and give him the other side. But it's more fine-tuning than really changing your strategy because you're a strong team yourself.
Yeah. Coach Miguel, same question to you. Before we came back from that break, we were having a chat about where Mbappe is as an individual in world football. I mean, you talk about Neymar, one of the best in the world. Messi, some people say the best in the world. Ronaldo, some people say the best in the world. Where is Mbappe? And how much time you spend as a coach in this game, Coach Miguel, to stop him? Or do you spend time talking about the overall France team and he's a part of that? What you do?
Well, I take a three-way approach to it. I look at how do I stop him in the fast break. Having somebody who's vigilant. Having a balanced team because that's where he's dangerous, especially in the transition. So you have to have a balance in place for him. In terms of positional play, you have to, like many of the coaches were saying, you have maybe 2 versus 1, force him to go back. But, then again, Mbappe will go back here, both lines together, and play inside and for the 1-2. But what's important, though, is how we play. Especially, they have put in Di Maria on the right-hand side. Once you have Mbappe problem, for example, Hernandez having problem, it will force the coach to probably tell Mbappe to go back, force him to go back a little bit deeper. And if you notice in the last match, what the coach had to do was take off Giroud and put Mbappe inside because he was not helping Hernandez one bit. And it was creating a lot of problem for the French team. So the coach was, somewhat proactive and changed Mbappe. So Argentina have to know that bringing a Di Maria, which they're going to play on the wing some more, will create a lot of problem for Mbappe, in which he won't get in. Will be getting the supply quickly from Hernandez to him, and that side will be under pressure from the Argentinians. So one approach is putting pressure behind him, forcing him to come back, and also winning the ball when you win, when you lose the ball on that side, you make immediate pressure. So you force him from getting the ball when the team play through the line. So as I said, a three-way approach.
Yep. Italy won the World Cup 1934 and 1938. Brazil won the World Cup 1958 and 1962. And now France trying to become the third team to win back-to-back tournaments. But these two teams, I mean, two finals in two tournaments, France and Argentina, two finals in three tournaments. Remember, they were in the final in 2014, and they lost in extra time, not penalties. They lost in extra time. I think the goal was scored in like the 113th minute or something like that. Liam, how you work Mbappe? You know, Coach Andrew earlier said that Messi, you want him with his back to the goal. What do you do with Mbappe? Because he seems to think now he has these close skills as a Neymar and stuff, and him step over the ball plenty. But with so much pace, some coaches might think he just want to play it in the space and then run it down and kick. How you play him? You play him to him foot, you play it in the space. What you do with him?
Well, Mbappe, like Shavar said, you can't match him, pace for pace. So, I mean, as from a France perspective, yeah, you want to give him the space to just run and take on players. We saw against Morocco on the wing, especially when Morocco, had a corner or had the ball. France would clear it to get it straight to Mbappe and just let him sprint down the wing. Sprint past Hakimi, get past Amrabat. So, from a France perspective, yeah, I thought that was pretty key against Morocco. Having him just lurking on the edge of the box. Give it to him and let him sprint down the line, and I think they're going to use that again. He also did kind of come into the middle against Morocco, and we saw that with the assist, even when he had three players around him, still pulled off an assist, whether or not it was on purpose. But yeah, I think you need to give Mbappe the space and just give him the time and space to run. Yep. For France, pace is just killer.
Yeah, by the way, that 4-3 game, Griezmann scored from the penalty spot, and Mbappe scored two. In about 5 minutes, he scored the two goals. I think it was the 64th and 68th minute. They're in this team. Sharona, I suspect were the France and the Argentina team listening to our discussion, they might be saying, I want to the brown man. I know Messi and Mbappe alone are play, because we've been spending a lot of time on those two players. What about the rest of the team? How do you feel as a central defender? And nobody now talk about you and, how might that be the other players? I would never say lesser players, but the supporting cast. Do you think they might feel that they are going like we're not in this thing too?
No, everybody, you know your role, and you know your stature. Not everyone is an X factor, but it doesn't mean that you're not a great player or you don't do your job well. And that's what I focus on, and I'm sure these professionals will focus on Upamecano is not going to say, oh, they're not talking about me, so I'm not going to do anything today. He's going to come ready with Varane, a very good pairing, and with Rabiot back in the team in the middle. I think it will help on that left-hand side because Mbappe has 0 tackles because his job is just to attack. Yeah. He has 0 tackles. So Rabiot will have a lot of work. Theo Hernandez, who has the most tackles, in the tournament on that left-hand side is going to probably end up having the most tackles in the World Cup because he's going to have Messi, Di Maria coming down that side. So I think the other players, Dembele, I mean, he hasn't scored, but he has been playing very well. Yeah. DePaul, Enzo, McAllister, it's 2 excellent teams. Yeah. And that's why we're so excited about this.
Yeah.
The show today.
What about goalkeeping, Andrew? Because we've seen some goalkeepers make some amazing saves in this World Cup, and I think this France goalkeeper should be one of the leading goalkeepers in this World Cup. Messi missed a penalty against Poland. He scored, I think, of the 5 goals. I think it's 3 penalties, right? Of the 5 goals.
Yeah, 3 of them are penalties.
3 penalties of the 5 goals. And Mbappe scored 5 also. But what about goalkeeping? Will that come into play, you think?
Definitely. I believe the 2 goalkeepers are 2 very good goalkeepers. Emi Martinez has done very well throughout the tournament. He has kept them in a lot of games. And so too, Lloris has done the same for France, especially in the last game against Morocco. He came up trumps. I believe there are 2 good goalkeepers. Lloris is prone to make mistakes in big games sometimes, but hey, he's a World Cup winner. He knows what it takes. He's the captain of the team. And Martinez, he has always said in all his interviews that what he wants to do is assist Lionel Messi to win the World Cup. So he has that belief and that commitment. So they're good goalkeepers, and they'll be called into action today, and they'll be ready.
Yep. Anybody thinking extra time penalties here? Liam? Anybody thinking extra
very
time
well be.
penalties? Liam?
Yeah, I said earlier, I think it's gonna go right down to the wire. I predicted earlier Argentina on penalty.
Argentina and penalties. Miguel, what do you say?
It can definitely go there. As I said, highly much. But I want to look at when you're gonna win competition, many times everything has to be somewhat perfect. France has been going with a lot of problem, persons sick, injuries, and a lot of things with even with Benzema in the media. So I think there's a lot of distraction in the French team. The Argentina, everybody, willing to die, and I believe the World Cup is especially in the final, is the best place to die, and they have this mental toughness, that invincible determination that in a final, this is what is important. Sometimes the coach, you take up the ball, you probably just bounce it 2 times and say, guys, go there and play. It's about the mentality today. And, Messi has developed so well in terms of, his leadership and I believe there's a lot of leaders in the Argentina team. In the French team, yes, they have leaders. Griezmann has definitely stepped up as a leader. You hear his interview, how he speaks. So it can go down to the wire. It definitely can go down to the wire. But for me, it's just on the mental level now. Just on the mental level. It's not about the tactic. Both teams do the same thing over and over. Players know exactly what they want to do. They know each other. The moments, the mentality. That's what's going to be very, very important.
It's interesting what Miguel said about Argentina. I remember when the Brazilian coaches were here, and Dunga was in the middle of the park for Brazil, and I didn't like Dunga as a midfielder, a Brazilian midfielder.
Not the prototype.
Right, just looked different from a Zico and a Socrates, just didn't look the part. And I remember saying to one of the Brazilian coaches, why Dunga in this team? And he said immediately, he's the only one who plays for the shirt. He says he will die out there for Brazil. That is so important. And if you watch even the national anthems and look at even the Argentina team, I mean, they sing like, it's my country, this me I play for. Sometimes I give my own country a hard time for that. I don't see that in the eyes of my countrymen when we are playing, like I'm playing for Jamaica, and you have to kill me out here. I think that's so important, and that's an incredible point that Miguel said. The game will still be won on the field. So no matter how you love your shirt, if you don't play ball, you're not going to win. Don't get me wrong. But I think playing for the shirt makes a huge difference. 733-2461-6. If you want to give us a call and just have a comment or two, we will take that because we soon have to leave you so you could go and watch the game. All right? Soon come. One more break. Stay with us, please. right, so Argentina, they have more World Cup victories over France. They have more victories overall, but all that is out the way. This is brand new. Final of the 2022 World Cup. I think it's the 21st World Cup, I think. France, they've won it twice. And Argentina, they've won it twice. France, the defending champion. Give me a score. We have to go. Sharona.
3-2,
Who?
Argentina.
2-1 France.
2-1 Argentina.
3-2 France.
Miguel?
2-1 Argentina.
Liam?
1-1 Argentina on penalties.
1-1. And then penalties. All right, well, let me get even more specific. Who will score for Argentina? Liam?
All right, I'll say Messi, and I'll give Giroud.
And Giroud.
Sorry,
for,
Giroud.
Giroud for France. All right, so that's the first edition of the final. We'll be back here at the end of the game, and we will have another chat with you. But boy, we're looking forward to this. I think most of us here said Brazil. I think
Some of us.
even the man from Netherlands did quietly say Brazil, but him couldn't make nobody hear him say so. But wow, Brazil out again. And France, and again, I've said this before, no surprise that these two teams are here because they came in as favorites. We have a call? We have a call? Yeah, we did that already, but don't we have to leave here almost now? Yeah, so we're not going to take any calls. Yeah, so next World Cup is Brazil again, I suspect next World
Netherlands.
Cup
Brazil, Netherlands is the final. You know?
Him team reach, how much final you reach?
Yeah, 3 finals to reach.
Too much.
You don't have no more reach.
Right.
Man.
I think we're the country that reached the most finals without winning it.
But it's like the people them say we're giving you a chance to win and you don't take it. No, we don't want
Why? I know, but you know,
Nervous?
Argentina.
you. Nervous?
No. Last time I was nervous about any game was 16 years old.
Curtis, the man leg a shake right now.
No man nervous.
Man nervous, man.
Andrew, how you feel as a coach? I mean, why? I've said this as a coach and a commentator, what it would be like for me to be coaching at the World Cup, whereas in the final, or doing commentary at the World
So how
Cup.
about penalty, Shavar? When you have penalty shootout as a coach, you say no nerves? As a player, I get it, you know, because same thing. I think as a player, you're so in the game, you engage, you know, nerves come. But
I don't get nervous at all.
So
as a coach,
I don't get nervous.
Penalty shootout. Because penalty to me, I can't do nothing again.
exactly,
I
you
wait
can't
again.
get. No, I'm not praying in penalty kicks because guess what?
I don't get nervous at all.
You will transform your energy to your team. So I can't transform my nervous energy.
When I was
But
about
my player walk up to that spot, I say, whoa, this is my own.
When I was about 14 years old, I was playing for St. George's College Old Boys. My brother Jackie was the coach, and they played against a big senior team, and they got a penalty. And Jackie Barlow said the captain must take it, and I said no, me want it. Because I was the coach's brother. The captain gave me the ball.
You got it.
And I hit the crossbar. Hold on, no? And the referee said, take it over.
Oh,
And the goalkeeper moved. And Jackie ball out to the captain. Give it up. I said, it's me again. Well, you know, I hit the crossbar again. And we lost the game 2-1. To finish the story, I'm coming up the tunnel at the stadium and somebody brings my clothes and said, don't go in the dressing room. My brother was waiting on me. And for the next 2 weeks, I sleep between my mother and my father. He would have killed me. I don't get nervous at all. Yeah. But the next match, I wanted the penalty again.
Yeah. But you know, one of the things, if you're not nervous, you're not a human being because this is the biggest stage. And nerves is also good
Healthy
sometimes.
Nerves.
It's good that you feel anticipating, you're energized to go out there and do the job. But once the game starts,
yeah, I get apprehensive
into
as a coach against the teams I'm supposed to beat. I like to play against the big teams because I know my team going ready. Win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
If you're playing against a big team, the team going ready. So if you lose,
those games are
the team them that you're supposed to beat up easy.
well, there's no Saudi Arabia playing today.
No, that is why I look at the boys and you can say, you just look at them and say, yeah, man, we win this already.
Yeah.
We have
That's
it,
the one you're gonna
we have it, coach. I hate when them tell me about they have it. It's a coach. We have this. So I get a little apprehensive. But when we're playing against the top teams, no, man.
That's why I think we should be happy to have 2 top teams in the final. 'Cause we
That's
know
why I
that
say it's no
mentality,
surprise.
right?
These teams. would
Although I
have
think Argentina beforehand was a lot less of a favorite than France.
Yeah.
And last thing, I think partially because of it was the back line when they looked at Argentina. I'm not
And
sure, but they've stepped up.
And I think a lot of people, even though they think France might win, a lot of people want Messi.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sentimentally, you know, this is
That's
this is the
the
last
story.
one.
All right. Y'all enjoy the game. Join us at the end of the game. We'll still be here. Well, Shavar won't be if Argentina lose. I'm sure of
That means that the whole of the shit I got.
There'll be a blank screen.
On behalf of Miguel, Liam, Eric, Sharona, and Joe, and Shavar, I'm Neville. Watch the game. Enjoy yourself and come back at the end.